So right now, pretty much everyone is looking forward to the announcement of the next generation Nintendo system, or the Nintendo Switch 2, and we're all kind of just waiting for Nintendo to finally drop that reveal teaser and really show us exactly what this system is going to look like and when we can expect it, as it seems pretty likely to think that this system is going to come out at some point in 2025, but it's really a matter of if it's going to be early 2025, if it's going to be like the summer of next year, or if it's going to be all the way until like holiday time next year. But I do feel like next year makes the most sense for this system to come out, and right now rumors are saying that it's going to be coming out towards like March of 2025, very similar to what they did with the current Nintendo Switch. Now, one of the most important things about any video game system is what you have available day one, as the launch date of a new console is super important because you really want to have some games and experiences on there that are very enticing for people to want to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a brand new video game system so that they can actually play these games. Because you can have one of the best video game systems of all time, but if you don't have any good games or anything that convinces people to want to go out and buy the system to play those games, then it's just not going to be that successful. Now, of course, when it comes to system launches from Nintendo, you can of course expect there to be a big first-party game that really convinces people to go out and want to buy the system day one, and they've pretty much done that for every video game system. I mean, even with the current Nintendo Switch, it was of course The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which was available on the Wii U as well, but because of how poorly that system sold, many people just experienced Breath of the Wild for the first time with the Nintendo Switch, and just having like this revolutionary open world Zelda game as the very first game that you could buy on the system, it was already kind of insane for so many people, so they just ended up buying a Nintendo Switch day one and then just having Breath of the Wild. And that's pretty much what I did. Like, I remember getting my Nintendo Switch day one, I still have a picture of it, I got Breath of the Wild, and that's pretty much all I played until Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out like a month after. So that's pretty much all you need, but of course it is also important to have big third-party games that are available on a new system as well. And according to the rumor that we've got here today, it looks like there could be some big third-party games that are going to be available day one for the Nintendo Switch 2. Alright, so if we take a look at this article right here, it says, analyst claims third-party devs are working on big launch titles for the Nintendo Switch successor. And actually, this is kind of interesting because it looks like the person who wrote this article has the same name as me. That's actually kind of funny because I feel like my name Aman is so unique. I never really see anybody with the same name, but it's even spelled the same way. So I can promise you I didn't write this article, but that is actually kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, if we take a look down here, it says, gaming and stock market analyst Paul Gale stated in a Twitter post recently that major third-party developers and studios are prepping big launch window titles for the Switch successor to make up for missing the Nintendo Switch's legendary release back in 2017, claiming that Nintendo Switch 2 will have some early significant ports, parallel releases, and exclusives. And we can see his tweet right here. And then it says here, if true, it would explain why many major releases over the past year have skipped the Switch, not just for the boost in hardware that will come with the successor, but also to coincide with the iteration's launch. In the comments, Gale pointed out the 2022 and 2023 Game of the Year award recipients of Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 as possible launch titles for the second Switch. Other heavy hitters from recent memory like Atlus's Persona 3 Reload or Capcom's Resident Evil 4 remake might be a part of the lineup as well. Whatever the case, so long as there is a strong show of third-party support for Nintendo's next console, no one will be able to say the Nintendo Switch 2 doesn't have games. Alright, so from this, it seems like a lot of major third-party developers are looking forward to having big games available on the Nintendo Switch 2 as soon as it's available, and it really seems like they mentioned in the article how a lot of these missed the Nintendo Switch's launch date, as if we take a look at what was available on the current Nintendo Switch day one, you can really see here there really wasn't a lot of stuff in terms of third-party. I mean, we pretty much just had like Skylanders, we had Just Dance, and then we had Super Bomberman R, and that was really about it because we had Breath of the Wild and 1-2 Switch from Nintendo themselves. So I feel like this time around with the Nintendo Switch 2, it's actually going to be really different, and I could definitely see them having some really big third-party games available day one as soon as the system comes out, and that could be great for like the Nintendo audience who might be interested in playing these types of games and seeing them available on like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and just having only a Nintendo system, and because of that they missed out on these games, but they can actually experience them on that next system. Now, there are so many major multi-platform games that skipped out coming out on the current Nintendo Switch, most likely because of the lack of power and performance, that it would actually take them more time to actually optimize and downscale their types of games to bring them to the current Switch. So I guess they're kind of just waiting for the next gen system so that it's easier for them. And there's a lot of games like that that I feel like having on a Nintendo system would be really nice. There's also a lot of games that are coming out which we haven't heard anything about them getting a launch on the Nintendo Switch, most likely because maybe they could be waiting to come out on the successor. Now, from the Activision Blizzard deal that Microsoft already did, we already know that they promised to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo systems for at least like the next 10 years or so. So I feel like they're not going to do that with the current Nintendo Switch because of the lack of power, but definitely when the Switch 2 comes out, I could see that launching with a Call of Duty game, and it would probably be Black Ops 6 because that is going to be the most recent Call of Duty by the end of this year when it comes out, and I don't think that Nintendo is going to wait all the way until holiday 2025 to launch the system, but I guess if they do, then they could have like the next year Call of Duty game available when that comes out. But either way, I feel like launching it with Black Ops 6 would be nice. You would have like a big multiplayer game, a shooter game already available on a Nintendo system, so that would be pretty nice. If it has crossplay and being able to play with PlayStation and Xbox, that would be really insane too, so I could see that happening. We've already got other games that we know are going to be coming out in the future, but we haven't seen these games available for Nintendo. So we know like the Visions of Mana game is going to be coming out, as well as like Metaphor ReFantazio, and these are the types of games that are coming out on PlayStation and Xbox and stuff, but they're not coming out on Nintendo. And I feel like that's because they're waiting for that to come out with the Nintendo Switch 2. So we've already heard rumors about things like that as well, like Persona 3 Reload, which came out on everything, but it didn't come out on the Nintendo Switch. So we heard that they're working on that and getting that out for the Switch successor as well. So it's definitely things like that that I feel like they could be doing. And like how the article mentioned, there's already so many other huge third-party games that skipped out coming out on a Nintendo system, but were also multi-platform. So we've got something like Elden Ring, which basically won Game of the Year. It's a huge game, it's super highly praised, but it's not available on the Switch. And you can get it on Xbox, you can get it on PlayStation, you can get it on PC. So it's not like From Software doesn't want to release this on a Nintendo system. It would just take a lot of work to be able to bring that and work it on the current Nintendo Switch. But when the Switch 2 comes out, having more power and performance available, I could definitely see that being like the Skyrim for the next system, where it's a big game, a huge third-party game that's available on that system that gets a lot of people very excited. Baldur's Gate 3 is a game like that, where it's I think on PlayStation 5, it's on PC, but it's not on anything with Nintendo, and that's of course a huge, highly praised game of the Year winner for last year. It beat out Tears of the Kingdom, which is crazy. So having a game like that available on a Switch 2 would be huge as well. And there's also just so many other third-party games that have come out, like we've seen like Street Fighter 6, we've seen Resident Evil 4 remake, we've seen even like they could go back to like 2021 even with like something like Tales of Arise, which that was like a big RPG game that was available on Xbox and PlayStation, but it skipped out on Nintendo. And I could see that being like a huge game to have available on the Switch 2. Have that for like the RPG crowd. You've got something maybe like Street Fighter for like the fighting game, or like just people who really want to have like a PvP game available day one. You could have Resident Evil 4 remake as like a big single player game. There's a lot of stuff. So like having these types of third-party games available on the Switch 2 alongside like a big 3D Mario or whatever Nintendo decides to launch the system with, this could honestly be one of the best launch like days ever for any type of video game system in general. And I really feel like with how the Nintendo Switch ended up being like one of the most successful video game systems of all time, a lot of these developers now are starting to regret that they didn't support the Switch when it was first available, and now they really don't want to make that mistake with the Switch 2. So they're just going in right away and making sure that they have a lot of these big games available on the Switch 2 immediately as soon as it's on store shelves. And we also heard so many rumors about how the Switch 2 was supposed to come out this year around the holiday time, but then it got internally delayed to coming out in 2025. And I feel like even with the developers, a lot of them were probably making games and having them ready to come out for that system as it was supposed to come out in 2024. But once Nintendo internally delayed it, now they're probably working on other games and they're making sure that they have a lot of stuff. So there's probably a lot of like third-party games now that are just kind of stockpiled and ready to release on the Switch successor. So they're kind of just waiting for Nintendo to confirm that system so that they can finally get the green light to show it and tell everybody that those games are coming too. So I really do think that like even regardless of if you want to believe this article or not, I just do expect the Nintendo Switch 2 launch to be very crazy. I feel like it's going to be something that is going to be very surprising for a lot of people, and just it makes a lot of sense with all of these developers not having realized the Switch was going to be so successful that they now really do want to support the Switch 2 as soon as it's available. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel, as well as I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about the Switch 2 as the information comes out. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think about this. Are you excited for a potentially crazy launch day on the Nintendo Switch 2 when it comes to third-party games? Is there any third-party game that you would love to see on the Nintendo Switch 2? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about this, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.